In the archives of history, some of the most fascinating stories are those of forgotten inventions, strange, desperate creations born from the chaos of war. Beneath the well-known tales of World War II lies a world of failed experiments and wild ideas, each revealing the limits of human ingenuity under pressure. Among these is the Windkanone, or Windkanone, a machine designed not to fire shells, but to weaponize the air itself. Conceived in Nazi Germany, the Windkanone was a real physical device, built and tested in the hope of finding a war-winning edge. Its story is a reminder that technological progress is littered with failures, not just triumphs. For every invention that changes history, dozens more fade into obscurity, each with lessons to teach. The Windkanone's journey from bold concept to abandoned relic offers a glimpse into the intersection of science, desperation, and the harsh realities of war. To understand its fate, we must leave the battlefield and enter the world of prototypes and testing grounds. Here we see the hope that drove its creators, and the dawning realization that some ideas, no matter how clever, are doomed from the start. The Windkanone's story is a cautionary tale about the gap between imagination and reality. The Windkanone was born as Allied bombers devastated German cities and factories, overwhelming traditional defences. In this climate, Nazi leaders demanded miracle weapons, anything that might turn the tide. Enter Dr. Mario Zippermeyer, an Austrian physicist with a radical idea: use a focused vortex of air to destroy enemy aircraft. His concept was simple: detonate hydrogen and oxygen to create a powerful blast, then channel it as a spinning column of air aimed skyward. The hope was that this invisible projectile would tear apart low-flying planes with turbulence alone. The German Ministry of Armaments, desperate for solutions, gave Zippermeyer resources and a test site at Hillersleben. The Windkanone was envisioned as a silent guardian for key targets, promising a new way to defend against air raids. Early tests on the ground showed promise, smashing wooden planks with invisible force. The project pressed forward, fueled by the hope that this bizarre cannon could succeed where conventional weapons had failed. But the true test would come when theory met the unpredictable sky. The Windkanone's design was industrial and imposing, a combustion chamber fed by hydrogen and oxygen, detonated to create a shockwave. This blast was funneled through a long, angled barrel, ending in a nozzle that spun the air, forming a vortex. The idea was to launch a stable, spinning column of air, like a man-made whirlwind, toward enemy aircraft. Early ground tests impressed engineers. At short range, the cannon's blast shattered thick wooden boards. These successes justified further development, but cracks soon appeared. The vortex's energy faded quickly with distance, losing cohesion as it travelled through the atmosphere. Crosswinds, humidity and air density all weakened the blast, making it unreliable at altitude. What worked in a controlled test failed in the open sky. The Windkanone could break boards at 200 metres, but bombers flew thousands of metres above. The gap between laboratory success and battlefield reality was growing impossible to ignore. The Windkanone's downfall was rooted in physics. Its air vortex, powerful at the muzzle, quickly dissipated in the open atmosphere, becoming a harmless gust long before reaching aircraft. The cannon was cumbersome and static, making aiming at fast-moving planes nearly impossible. Even if the vortex reached bomber altitude, predicting the target's position was a guessing game, easily foiled by wind or evasive maneuvers. The weapon's slow rate of fire and massive hydrogen and oxygen requirements made it impractical to operate. Supplying these volatile gases was dangerous and logistically unsustainable, especially under bombardment. In its only real test, the Windkanone failed to damage kites and balloons simulating aircraft. The results were conclusive. The vortex was too weak, the concept unworkable. With resources dwindling and the war turning against Germany, the project was abandoned. The Windkanone became a relic, a silent testament to the limits of desperation-driven innovation. Its failure was not just technical, but a lesson in the dangers of wishful thinking over hard science. In the end, the Windkanone was left to rust, an idea that could not survive contact with reality. Its story is a warning. Not every bold idea can be made to work, no matter how urgent the need. The Windkanone was a product of late-war Germany, where desperation fueled a frenzy of radical invention. As defeat loomed, Nazi leaders gambled on miracle weapons, giving engineers free rein to pursue the improbable. This climate produced both genuine breakthroughs, like jet fighters and ballistic missiles, and a host of bizarre failures. For every Me-262 or V2, there was a wind cannon, a sun gun, or a sound weapon, ideas that stretched the limits of science and reason. The pressure to deliver results led to risky bets and a suspension of critical judgment. The Windkanone stands as a case study in how crisis can drive both brilliance and folly. It reminds us that innovation under duress can yield marvels, but also spectacular dead ends. In the race for survival, not every gamble pays off. Though the Windkanone failed, its core idea, using pressure waves as weapons, endured. Later, this principle found deadly success in thermobaric or fuel-air explosives. Unlike the Windkanone, thermobaric weapons deliver a fuel cloud directly to the target, then ignite it, creating a massive blast and overpressure. This approach solved the dissipation problem. The destructive force is generated right where it's needed. Thermobaric bombs devastate bunkers, caves, and open areas with sustained pressure and vacuum effects. Both the Windkanone and fuel-air bombs sought to weaponize air and pressure, but only the latter found practical application. The lesson is clear. It's more effective to deliver the cause of destruction to the target, not try to project the effect over distance. The Windkanone was an early flawed step on a path that led to some of today's most powerful conventional weapons. Its failure paved the way for more effective and more terrifying technologies. Sometimes even failed ideas can shape the future. The Windkanone's story is a lesson in critical thinking and survival logic. It shows that clever ideas must be grounded in reality, not just theory. The German engineers underestimated the laws of physics, hoping for a miracle solution. In survival, as in engineering, practicality and rigorous testing matter more than wishful thinking. The Windkanone's failure warns against being seduced by hype or desperate promises. We must question new technologies, test assumptions, and recognize the limits of what's possible. Scaling up a small success doesn't guarantee large-scale results. Studying failure reveals boundaries and flawed assumptions, offering richer lessons than success stories alone. The Windkanone reminds us: hope is not a strategy. Reality always has the final say. In both history and survival, learning from failure is the surest path to wisdom. Today, the Windkanone is a footnote in history, a whisper of wind lost amid the thunder of war. Its story, and those of other forgotten inventions, remind us that history is a tangled web of ideas, not just a march of victories. These failures offer a more human perspective, revealing the hopes and struggles behind desperate innovation. The wind cannon was born from real fear and real imagination, but ultimately it could not overcome reality. Exploring such stories deepens our understanding of the past and challenges our assumptions about what was possible. They invite us to keep an open mind and to seek out the lessons hidden in abandoned blueprints and forgotten ruins. In these echoes of failed ideas, we find caution, inspiration, and a richer appreciation for the journey of human progress. By listening to the ghosts of innovation, we gain wisdom for the challenges ahead.